You've had one of those days, you're stressed, you're tired, you're just not feeling your best. You probably haven't been taking care of yourself. You know you need to take a break, but that's impossible right now. All of a sudden, you have a human moment and unleash some of your anger on a store clerk. He stands there quietly and takes it. The worst part, though, is that your child is with you and he witnessed the whole thing. What do you do next?
Welcome to the Bill Corbett podcast, Creating Cooperative Kids. A listening experience created for parents interested in raising independent kids and those who would like tips and techniques for increasing the cooperation from their children and teens. Bill is answering questions from his email box, so please feel free to email him at bill@cooperativekids.com. You can also find all of his resources at billcorbettsbooks.com. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, share, and like this podcast. Now back to the episode.
Even the most patient parent has moments they regret, such as the checkout meltdown, the raised voice in the car, or the hasty words that sting more than intended. What you do after these moments matters as much, if not more, than what happened in the heat of it. Children are resilient, but they need guidance to process what they have just witnessed and to learn how to manage their emotions effectively. Here's how to turn a moment you wish you could erase into one of the most powerful lessons you can teach. Number 1, wait until everyone is calm. Jumping into the conversation right away can backfire if either of you is still upset. Give it time, sometimes minutes, sometimes hours if necessary, so the conversation feels safe and not like a continuation of the conflict. You might say, I want to talk about what happened earlier, but let's wait until we both feel a little more calm. This teaches that cooling off before talking is not avoidance, it's actually wisdom. Number 2, take responsibility for your actions. A mom is near tears as she apologizes for getting angry at the cashier. Children need to hear that you take responsibility for your behavior. Keep it simple. Say what happened. Look, I yelled at the cashier. Mommy is feeling really tired or angry, and I took it out on that poor lady. Acknowledge your emotion. I was angry because things weren't going the way I wanted them to go. Take responsibility. But yelling wasn't the right way to handle it. See, this shows your child that grown-ups make mistakes, and they take accountability, the most important part. Number 3, name your emotions. Children are still learning to identify and label their emotions. By naming your emotions, you help them learn their own. I felt frustrated and angry when the line was so slow and I was in a hurry. See, this helps build their emotional vocabulary and demonstrates that anger is a natural and manageable feeling. I want to add something here about the importance of emotions with our children. I like to tell parents that we put our children through years of education and training on reading, writing, and arithmetic, but there's no training on handling their emotions. And I tell you, our prisons are filled with people who didn't get there because they couldn't read, write, or add. They got there because they didn't know how to manage their emotions in the moment. So it's so important that you as parents are teaching your children about how to handle their emotions. Feelings are not right or wrong, they just are. And we need to let them out. Don't stuff them back inside. There's things that we can do on a daily basis that'll teach them how to recognize, accept, and process their feelings, but more importantly, how to behave after the emotion is felt, what to do as a result of those emotions. Number 4, model repair. Mom is doing damage control after her son witnessed her getting angry in the store. If your actions hurt someone, even a stranger, let your child see you repair it. If possible, apologize to the person involved or explain how you'll do better next time. Next time, I will take a deep breath and I'll speak more calmly. See, this teaches children that mistakes can be repaired and relationships restored. In fact, what's really important about this, I'm going to go off script a little bit, because when we have arguments with our significant other in front of the children, it's normal to do that. Sometimes we just don't like them in that moment. But the child sees the conflict. let's take the time to make the effort to let them see the makeup. Now, I'm talking about the makeup. That means hugging, saying I'm sorry, a kiss, something like that. Something simple as the makeup. Let them see the repair in front of them, and they'll learn from that as well. This teaches children that mistakes can be repaired and relationships can be restored. I want to relate an incident that happened. My son and I were out shopping. We had gotten a copy of a flyer from Best Buy. We decided to stop in because in that flyer was an ad for a very inexpensive television, and if you bought it, you got a free DVD player. Now, this goes back a few years when DVD players were pretty expensive. We walked in the store, I walked into the department, and I showed the cashier the flyer and the ad, and I said, I want to buy this television. And he said, I'm sorry, sir, that flyer ended yesterday and it's no longer in effect. Well, I remained calm and I thought, you know what, I should still be able to buy that television. And I know there's rules in the stores and retail, but I used to work in retail and they have the power. Sales staff and managers have the power to adjust those rules from time to time. So I knew my son was standing right there next to me. He was about 11 or 12 years of age, and I just calmly said to the cashier, I said, can you get me your manager, please? And he looked at me kind of for a moment, and then he got on the phone. He picked up the phone, and he called the manager. He says, there's a customer here that would like to speak with you, and he wants an item from the flyer that ended yesterday. So the cashier says he's on his way out, sir. And again, I knew this was important, not only for me to be calm and cool, but also to make sure my son sees this play out right for a learning lesson. The manager showed up, and he said, I'm sorry, sir, that's yesterday's flyer. It ended at midnight yesterday, and you can't buy that. And I said, well, I'd like to buy that, please. So I'd like to talk to the store manager, please. And again, he just stared at me for a moment, and then when it finally sank in, he got on the radio and called the store manager, and she said, I'll be right there. She walks out onto the floor. She walks up to us, and he said, this gentleman wants to buy this television and this flyer. And I looked at her very calmly, and I just kind of confirmed her, yes, I'd like to buy that, please. And I do know the flyer ended yesterday. She looked at me, and then she looked at the department manager and just calmly said to him, let him buy it. And she turned around and walked away. Now, that lesson has resonated with my son. We talked about that on the whole ride home. It was important for me to let him see that I was calm and asking for what I want. To this day, we still talk about it. Today, my son is a dad and a husband. He's got 2 little girls, and he has used that in his life. When he felt he wanted something, he asked calmly for it. I'm telling you this because the teaching that you do with your child about life lessons and how to respond is so powerful. You're going to see it cultivated. You're going to see it come back to you later on as your child grows, and that's the most important matter. Number 5, invite their perspective. Children often have their own feelings about what happened, even if they don't show them. Ask gentle, open-ended questions like, how did you feel when you saw mommy getting upset? Or, did it scare you when mommy yelled at the cashier? Listen without defensiveness. Really important here. This helps them trust that their feelings are valid and safe to share. Number 6, teach a coping tool. End the conversation with a concrete skill, something you and your child can practice together, like deep breathing. You can say something like, let's try 5 slow breaths together, or counting to 10. Or walking away and coming back when calm. See, this transforms the incident into a teaching moment they can use for the rest of their lives. Number 7, show affection. A hug, a hand squeeze, or simply saying, I love you, after the conversation reassures your child that they are safe and loved, even when big emotions arise. Here's some final thoughts. Repair doesn't erase the moment, but it reframes it. When you talk openly, take responsibility, and model healthier ways to handle frustration, you turn what could be a painful memory into a lesson in love, humility, and resilience. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'd love for you to take a moment to comment in the box below, in the notes box about this episode. I'd love to hear your questions, your comments, and give me some ideas for other episodes that I can create. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for downloading and listening to the Bill Corbett Podcast, Creating Cooperative Kids. For more help with parenting situations, check out Bill's website, cooperativekids.com. If you'd like to ask him a question, leave your question in the comments box on this episode and he will respond as quickly as he can. You can also email him at bill@cooperativekids.com. This podcast is the property of Bill Corbett and Cooperative Kids Publishing. Copyright 2025, all rights reserved.